Sometimes, the smallest moment can change two lives forever. One quiet act, one pause, one choice to care, can ripple further than anyone could imagine. This is the story of a woman who noticed a stranger crying in the street, and how that simple moment of kindness led to something incredible no one saw coming. Before we begin, take a second to support Kindness Story Hub. If stories like this warm your heart, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us spread more stories of hope and kindness around the world. It was an ordinary Tuesday morning in a small American city, the kind of morning where everyone seemed to be in a rush. Cars honked at red lights, people stared at their phones, and coffee cups steamed in tired hands. Life was moving fast, as it always did. Emily Parker was walking to work, her mind already full of deadlines and emails. She worked as a dental assistant, a job she liked, but that didn't leave much room for daydreaming. Rent was due soon, her car needed repairs, and her alarm had gone off late that morning. She wasn't in a bad mood, exactly, just wrapped up in her own thoughts like most people were. As she approached the corner of Main Street and 3rd Avenue, something caught her eye. A man was sitting on the curb near a bus stop, his head buried in his hands. At first glance, Emily almost walked past him. People sat on sidewalks all the time. Sometimes they were waiting for a bus. Sometimes they were just resting, but then she heard a soft, broken sob. The man wasn't just sitting there. He was crying. Not quietly wiping away a tear, but really crying, the kind that comes from deep pain. His shoulders shook, and his breath came out in uneven gasps. Emily slowed down. She looked around. People were passing by, some glancing at him for a second before looking away. Others pretended not to see him at all. A few stepped around him as if he were part of the sidewalk. Emily hesitated. She had never been good at talking to strangers. She worried about saying the wrong thing. She worried about being late for work. She worried about 100 small things that suddenly felt important. Then she thought, what if that were me? She turned around and walked back toward the man. Hey, she said gently, keeping her voice calm. Are you okay? The man looked up, startled. His eyes were red and swollen, his face streaked with tears. He looked to be in his late 40s, with graying hair and clothes that were clean but worn. I'm sorry, he said quickly, wiping his face with his sleeve. I didn't mean to cause a scene. You're not causing a scene, Emily said. She crouched down a few feet away, giving him space. I just saw you and wanted to check. For a moment, he didn't speak. Then the words came out all at once. My name's Daniel, he said. I lost my job last month. Factory shut down. 30 years, just, gone. His voice cracked. My wife passed away 2 years ago. Cancer. And today I found out I'm losing my apartment. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Emily felt a lump rise in her throat. She didn't know what to say. There were no magic words for something like that. So she did the only thing she could. She listened. She stayed there as cars passed and people stared. She nodded, she made soft sounds of understanding, and she let Daniel talk. He told her about his wife, about how they used to walk that same street on Sunday mornings. He told her about the factory job that paid just enough to get by, and how ashamed he felt asking his sister for help again. I feel invisible, he said quietly. Like I don't matter anymore. You matter, Emily said without thinking. You really do. After a few minutes, she stood up. I have to get to work, she said, but I don't want to just leave you here. Can I get you something? Coffee? Food? Daniel shook his head. You've already done more than enough. Emily pulled out her wallet anyway. She handed him some cash, more than she had planned, even though she knew money was tight for her too. For breakfast, she said with a small smile. And lunch, if you want. Daniel stared at the money, then at her. Tears filled his eyes again, but this time they looked different. Thank you, he whispered. You have no idea what this means. Emily wrote her name and phone number on a scrap of paper. If you need someone to talk to, she said, you can text me. I might not have answers, but I can listen. She walked away feeling strange. Lighter, somehow, but also sad. She didn't expect to ever see Daniel again. It was just one moment in a busy day, daughter, so she thought. 3 months passed, life went on. Emily's days filled with work, chores, and small routines. Sometimes she wondered about Daniel. She hoped he was okay. She hoped he had found help. But she never heard from him, and eventually the memory faded into the background of her life. Then, one evening, she got a call from an unknown number. "Hello," she answered. "Emily," a man's voice said. "This is Daniel. We met a few months ago, on Main Street." Her heart skipped. "Daniel? Oh my gosh. How are you?" There was a pause. Then he laughed softly. I'm doing well. And I was hoping I could see you. Just to say thank you. Properly." They agreed to meet at a small diner downtown. When Emily walked in, she almost didn't recognize him. Daniel looked healthier. He was clean-shaven, wearing a neat jacket, standing tall instead of hunched over. He smiled when he saw her. "Sit," he said. "Please. This one's on me." Over coffee, Daniel told her what had happened that day on the street. After Emily left, he had gone to a nearby community center. He said her kindness had given him the push he needed to stop hiding and ask for help. The center connected him with a temporary housing program. Someone there helped him update his resume. A week later, he landed a job, but that wasn't the incredible part. Daniel explained that before working at the factory, many years ago, he had studied mechanical engineering. The new job was at a small startup that repaired and redesigned medical equipment for rural hospitals. "They found out about my background," he said, his eyes shining. "And last month, they promoted me." Emily smiled, happy for him. Then Daniel reached into his bag and pulled out a folder. "I didn't just come to say thank you," he said. "I came because I wanted you to know what your kindness set in motion." Inside the folder were photos. New machines. Hospital rooms. Smiling nurses. "Our company developed a low-cost device that helps detect oral infections early," Daniel said. "It's already being used in clinics that couldn't afford older equipment." Emily's breath caught. "I remembered you worked in dental care," Daniel continued. "I pitched the idea because I kept thinking, if one person stopping to care could change my life, maybe something I build could change someone else's." Tears filled Emily's eyes. "Because of you," Daniel said softly, "thousands of patients will get help sooner. Some of them might be saved." Emily shook her head. "I didn't do all that. I just stopped." Daniel smiled. "Exactly." They sat there for a long moment, letting the weight of it sink in. That night, Emily walked home with a new understanding. Kindness didn't have to be grand. It didn't need a spotlight. It just needed someone willing to notice. A few months later, Emily started carrying extra granola bars in her bag. She volunteered once a week at a local shelter. Not because she thought she would change the world, but because she knew how powerful one small act could be. And Daniel? He never forgot that morning on Main Street. He made it a rule to always stop when someone needed help, no matter how busy he was, because kindness, once given, has a way of coming back, multiplied. So if you ever see someone crying in the street, or struggling in silence, remember this story. Remember that your smallest moment of compassion could lead to something incredible, and maybe, just maybe, it will change the world one kind act at a time.